Hello, and welcome to episode 26, season 3 of my Let's Play modded Minecraft version 1.7.10. I am KHM, and that was probably way more information than I actually needed for the intro. One second. Alright, so, got quite a bit of work done here. Got quite a bit of things made, and you'll quickly see why I made all this off camera. I want to work on my Thaumcraft room, which is no secret, or Thaumcraft building. As you can see, I've already got some layout here. This kind of gave it a rather interesting effect, and got some rune brick things here that gives the overall altar. That's the word, altar. A good look. Kind of an evil, shouldn't probably be using this look. I put some energized glowstone here for lighting. Put the actual source block here so that it wouldn't float up into the sky. Yes. But that was kind of cool. I've also laid out 56. What do I have those there? I've also laid out 56 barrels for the Essentia storage, because that's the Essentia storage room. And then up here at the very top, we're going to have the, I guess, Essentia distillery, which is going to be cool. But for now, we're going to be working here. The infusion altar really doesn't require much, but it's going to need the jars placed around it. And, yes, so the parts for all this is here. These things are expensive. I made a lot of them. And we're going to start out by placing down the autonomous activators, because these things will be a pain in the ass to place later if we don't. Okay. Now, each of these, it's getting to be dark. Okay, now each of these autonomous activators will have a jar of Essentia in front of it. And they will be able to place Essentia from the storage system directly into the jars using files, like these ones here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and place the Essentia jars. Let's see. Okay, now all the jars have been placed. So, next we need to figure out the next step. We're going to work on the, what is the thing called? The Crucible thingy, the automated Crucible gizmo. Okay, so the automated Crucible gizmo. Thinking maybe placing it right about here. Boop. Oops. There we go. The alchemical construct. Okay, now, as you know, currently, if you want to, well, for the most part, if you want to put Essentia into this to use it, you have to manually grab the jars, place it down next to it, have them separate, have them all connected via their own line. But that's really annoying. So what I actually want to do is I want to make it so that all of them are connected via one line, and it's able to pull them all. Now, I have not been able to find any instructions or pictures or anything of anybody else having figured this out. So I think I am the first one to have figured this out, which is really cool. Blazing trails. Okay, so I'm gonna need Essentia tubes. And I'm just gonna place stuff down. Okay, so now that I have a tube going all the way around, you'll notice that I didn't connect it to the jars. Explain why in a second. Now, to understand how this works and how to make it work, you kind of need to go over how suction works in this. Suction is what draws essentia from, like the furnace, the alchemical furnace, into a jar, or from the jar to this alchemical construct. Yes. So, basically, the more suction something has, each suction has a value. Jars, it's 32. With the alchemical construct, it is 128. With buffers, it's 1. And it's nighttime. Okay, so alchemical constructs have a suction of 128, buffers have a suction of 1, jars have a suction of 32. The higher the suction number is at a point is the direction that the essentia will go. Yes. So, if you have two jars connected via a tube like this, they won't pull stuff out because they each have a suction of 32. Yes. But also the suction loses 1 unit of value with each block that the tube has to pass through. So, for example, the alchemical construct will have a suction of 128, so this will be 128, 127, 126, 125, 124, 123, so on and so forth. All the way down the line. So, yes, 2 jars connected to each other via tube. They would both have a suction of 32, but when the suction gets to the other jar, it'll actually be like 31 or 30, something like that. Yes. Now, there's also different types of suctions. There's, in my game here, because of the mods, I have 57 different types of suction. First suction is any essentia, which will suck any essentia towards a direction. The other kind is a specific kind of essentia, like air, alienus, aqua, arbor, arum. Each one of those has their own designated suction, so that it will only pull that kind of essentia. Now, these jars here, because they have a label and... Oops. I was not expecting that. Because they have a label... Can I punch it and do that? I can. Interesting. It's probably because of gloves. Because this jar here has both a label and essentia, each one alone would cause this. It is going to be have a 32 suction of 32 air. Well, this one will have a suction of 32 alienus, and this one will have a suction of 32 aqua. An empty jar will have a 32 suction of the any that I first mentioned. Yes. Now, this is important because if you have 2 different types of suction, well, each suction type can only encounter its own type or the any type of suction when it's, I guess, sucking. Otherwise, it will cause a sort of jam in the tube system. So, if I have, let's take these 2 jars here and actually demonstrate this. So, if I have an air connected to an alienus, you'll see that we get this sort of hissing. That's because the 2 different suction types have encountered one another, the alienus and the air, and it's causing a jam-up. Jam-ups are bad. So, to get around this problem, we use directional Essentia tubes. By right-clicking on it like this, you'll see that it has these blue lines. This indicates that suction can only come from this direction. So this thing will only accept suction from this direction. Yes. So by doing this, right-click on that, because that does not look good, although I don't think that would affect it at all. So, because of that, we're only accepting suction from this tube over here. The 32 section of this jar here is getting stocked here and not going on. So we don't have different types of suction encountering one another. And I'm just going to place all these directional tubes. Okay, now that I've done that, all these jars are connected to the same line, but they are not conflicting with one another in their suction types, which is awesome, what we need. Now, we need this all to be on one line, because the alchemical construct has a suction of 128 of the specific type that it currently wants. It does not use an any type, which is good. But suction types, well, suction will not go past things like buffers. So all this has to be all on a single line so that I can get to them. However, at the moment, if we were to fire this up and use this, it would not work. It would be able to suck in like maybe a couple of Essentia types, but it would not be able to suck up all that it needed. Instead, we'd get jam-ups all over the place. The reason for this is because when it's sucking Essentia, the Essentia does not just magically teleport to the destination, it actually travels through the tubes. And so the thing will actually pull more Essentia without meaning to than it actually needs. And so, to deal with this, we need a place for this Essentia to go. Let's see. And for that, we're going to be using buffers. Buffers to clean up the mess. Now, how we're going to achieve this is by... Yep, I'm going to break that and place that there instead. We're going to be putting buffers all over the back of this. Okay, I've got all the buffers here. It might be a little overkill to use a buffer for every tube, but, nah. In my testing, this is what worked best for me. When I used Arcane Bellows to increase the suction of the buffers so that it would cover more territory, I ended up with some jams here and there. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to use buffers for one buffer for every tube. Now, what this will do is, if there's, say, an extra thing of Essentia in this tube here, it'll get sucked into this buffer. Each buffer has a suction of 1 by default. so that it will not jam up the system. It will be safely in the buffer and get transferred over this direction over here. Yes. Now, let's see. For these buffers, you'll notice that I have these little red bands on them. Now, for buffers, because, well, by default they have a suction of 1, but because they can actually have more suction than that, you can add 32 suction per arcane bellows that you attach them, kind of like this here. Actually, I don't want that. I know, it's wrong tool. I actually think I want arcane bellows here. Here, and uh-oh. Oh dear, I forgot about that. Ooh, uh-oh. We have problems, No, don't put that in the bag, put that in the... I put the arcane bellows on too soon, and now we've got Essentia just building up here. So, to deal with that, we're gonna put a reservoir down. There we go, that'll hold stuff for now. Okay, so... because you can put arcane bellows on there, increases the suction greatly, but you might not want that suction through every single one. So, if you shift right-click on it with your wand, you get a blue band here, which means that only a suction unit of 1 will pass through here. And that's what I want on these. And I need to sleep. Okay, yes, so blue is suction value of 1. So when I place the arcane bellows onto these ones here like so, they will cause 32 units of suction out this way, because you'll notice that it's not restricted in any way. Which is important, because by default the suction of 1 would get to here, and then we'd have a suction of 0 here. So this allows it to pull Essentia from this buffer here. But the blue band here means that it only has a suction of 1 this way, so we don't have to worry about it trying to suck out stuff from jars and things. Although I suppose since this only adds 32, that might not actually be a concern anyway, which is why that reservoir didn't start filling up. Yes. Now, you'll also notice that there's a red band on every single one of these buffers. That indicates that I don't want any suction from the buffer in that direction. So this buffer has 0 suction going off to this way, while this one has a suction of 1 going over here. As a result, the suctions do not cancel each other out, and this one is able to pull the Essentia from here, and allowing it to just pull all of the Essentia that's extra left over all the way over to here, and it will pull it into this reservoir. So, let's go ahead and test this out. Let's get a chest. Try that again. Do I have any chests? No, well, that's fine. I can make one. I haven't the rest of my wood. Oh, don't tell me I... No. Oh, I remember. Okay, so... make a chest. That's a door now? Oh, interesting. Ah, crap. Okay, now if we plop down our chest right over this big opening here, now anything that this alchemical construct makes will be spit into this chest. So we can take some glowstone. I want to make a lot of nitor. So if everything works out correctly, it should start making it, because it should already have stuff. Okay, so for some reason it is not making it. We need a tool to debug this. Figure out what I did wrong here. What's stick? It's iron. Okay, and this recipe will get us this Essentia resonator. There we go. Took me a few tries. And by taking this and right-clicking on this, we can see that it's not sucking in anything for reasons that are unknown to me. Zero on type means that there's no suction of any type. Just so you know. Okay, that is weird. Why isn't this going? Why is there no suction coming from this? Let's try breaking it and replacing it. The opening is there. Perfect. Let's remove this chest. Okay, so I just realized I haven't been recording for like the last maybe 10 minutes or so. I don't know how long. Anyway, the reason why the thing wasn't working was because I forgot to put the night ore underneath the Crucible. So now that that's there, it's working. It's all happy. Everything's good. And the machine is working. I have it currently pulling from the reservoir here because it was getting a little full in my testing. Now, the reason why I have the reservoir there is, well, it is possible to design the system so that it puts the extra Essentia back into the jars after it's cleaned out the tubes. But, since I have autonomous activators that will be putting Essentia into the jars automatically, that won't really work. So what I'm actually later going to do is have a tube that runs up to the distillery, the Essentia distillery, and puts it back into the system that way. But for now, we've got just this reservoir here is handling that job. Yes. Okay. Now then, wish there was a way to connect the reservoir to, well, have it connected through more than one thing, so that way I could have it putting it in on one and pulling it out from the other, but there's no way of actually doing that currently, sadly. I should probably look into refilling these jars here. Alright, so Ignis. Okay, we have Lux. Lux is clearly empty. And Potentia. Potentia. Where do you see Potentia? Ah, there it is. Okay, looks like that has finished up as much as it's going to be able to. So I'll reconnect this. And it should start pulling Potentia from the jars. Good, good, good. Sweet, okay. Now I'll give it another 16 to do. Now, unfortunately, this machine is very, very slow. So you know what, I'm gonna pause the recording and I'll come back once I've finished making all 64 of these Nitor or I hit a bump in the process. Okay, so I've tried to record this segment 2 or 3 times now, and it's blue screened every time. So, try this again, hopefully nothing will go wrong. This thing works just fine, as you can see, 64 Nitor in there. And surprisingly enough, when I connected it directly to the reservoir and to the jars, it worked just fine, which is pretty cool. Okay, now, up here is where the Essentia Distillery is going to be, and I've already gone ahead and placed down all the autonomous activators in jars. And configured all the autonomous activators to have a colorless, a colorless thing on the bottom. Now, the reason why we want a colorless one instead of, say, like, orange or blue is because orange or blue designate that that side can only have items put into it or have items pulled out of it. Whereas colorless means that items can be put in and taken out from that one side. And that's very important for later. Alright, so now we need to hook up all these jars to this distillery. Actually, I need the distillery itself, or the gizmo thing here. Yes, this is a gizmo thing, yeah. This here and gizmo thing. And I am stuck underneath the platform. There we go. Let's see here. Expand this out a little bit. Just a smidgen more room. Maybe, perhaps. I don't know, I can always move things around later. Yes, I am going to place that there, and the Alembic on top of it. Now, I have 5 Alembics floating around, I believe. In previous versions where you could only use golems, well, it was only viable to use golems, to empty these things out, you'd need 5 because golems were slow. Alright, and I need a buffer on top of every single jar. Okay, I have the buffers all set up, one on top of every jar, and I have them configured so that they'll push the Essentia down this way, then this way, and then this way. Although I need to place some of these arcane bellows here. Boop. Boop. And boot. I've also, oh, I missed this one. Gone through and set up the buffers with the arcane bellows on them so that they don't accidentally suck or try to suck stuff out of the jar. Yes, which is important. Yeah, I'm not actually entirely sure that this will work. I might need to put another buffer on the ends here and do it that way. I found that Arcane Bellows connected to a buffer that's directly connected to a jar doesn't seem to work out too well. but hopefully it'll be fine. Alright, now, first things first, we're going to need to connect this down here, up. And this will be the tube that returns Essentia back to the system. Don't need this anymore. Now I need to reconfigure this, which isn't too hard, just a couple whacks here. There we go, now it's pumping everything into this buffer, which will pump stuff upward. Though, you know, just to be on the safe side here. No real reason to do that, just why not? Alright. And we're going to need arcane bellows onto this buffer so that way it can suck things out. There we go. And don't mind the energized glowstone here. I'm sure that'll get cleared out naturally as I work on this structure. Okay, and now we need to connect the Arcane Alembic to this buffer as well. So now the buffer is sucking items from, or sucking Essentia from the system down there, and from this Arcane Alembic. And it's a lot faster than Golem, so this will be awesome. It appears I need to sleep. Okay. Now, it'll be possible for Essentia to be put into the system faster than it can be pulled out and stored away. So, if that happens, we'd end up with Essentia skipping its jar, and then just keep going down the system. And it would eventually kind of collect up over here, into this buffer here. So, we need a way to take the Essentia that might make it to this buffer, and put it back into the circulation so that it can make another pass. To do that, we just simply take a tube, up, bring it over, run out of piping, It's okay, because piping is relatively easy to make. Although I might not have made enough for this particular job. But anyway, so, take the pipe, connect it over here. Aw, just one short. And there we go. Excuse me. Okay, so now Essentia that passed by its appropriate jar will be fed right back into the system and make another pass. Yes. Okay, and that's pretty much this. We can give it a test here. Let's see here, need some stuff. One charcoal, one stack of charcoal. Okay, throw in a stack of charcoal on the top and one charcoal in the bottom, and it will break down whatever that one charcoal could do. Not exactly sure how much one charcoal can break down, which is why I put in a stack. And that should be passing its Essentia to the Ignis and the Potentia jars. Here we are, Ignis. Ignis is being filled up slowly. Come on, give me a 4. There's a 4. There we go. Sweet. Alright, and Potentia is here. It's currently at 28. 29. Sweet, it is working. And if we break this jar so that we end up with Potentia going around, should see Potentia coming through here. There was Potentia. But it shouldn't be a problem, because the moment I place this bag down, it should all start just funneling right into that jar. Sweet. Okay, cool. It's working. It's all working. Oh, by the way, the extra buffer the extra buffer over here is, because the suction of that could potentially, be greater than the jar here. Although with such a long tube, it probably wouldn't be. Although in my test world, because I had such a small system, it was a bit of an issue. Might also actually want to stick another thing. Anyway, I have a buffer here so that that way, no matter what the suction is coming in, this buffer will only be receiving a suction value of 1 from here, so that it does not interfere with its trying to place stuff into the jar. How are you doing? We have 16 Potentia, 12 Ignis in you, and you're slowly draining it into the things. Awesome. Alright, next we need to talk about storage. Now, I've already gone through and put one of each Essentia file into every single lag-inducing barrel. Yes. Alright. That's pretty much storage. But we also need a way to automate the putting in and taking stuff around, to moving around the Essentia, basically. And for that, we need Project Red. Project Red has some really nice piping for this particular task. Alright, so we're going to need these, and we'll start out with the top ones, so I need to go put stuff away. Oops. Okay, so we're going to need these ones, and these ones. And we're also going to need one of these things. Well, we get a whole stack? No, we cannot. So what's the recipe for these things? Okay. Play. Just gonna make a whole bunch more of these files. Real quick. Need glass. And clay. Clay. Perfect. I'll get stuck down there. Alright. Oop, oop, oop. That'll do. Okay, now these Project Red stuff is really quite expensive, but anyway, let's go over it. So, I know I've kind of used it once already, but here we're going to be using it on a much larger scale. Alright, so, you remember how I made one side of the thing colorless? And so we could attach these. The routed interface pipes allow the system to interact with an inventory. Yes, it allows these pipes to interact with the inventory, so we need one per activator. There we go. Now, with these ones here, I probably could have made it a little bit more efficient by having, like, the back instead of the bottom, but I didn't want to risk confusing this piping thing. So I didn't go with that. Alrighty then. Did I forget one or something? No, it just didn't update before I looked away. And there we go. You know what, now that I think about it, I think I'm going to actually run the pipes back here. Oops. Okay. Now that we have all those pipes, we need to have them connected to one another and able to chat. To do that, I'm going to put these tubes here, and because this here, this tube connecting to this tube here will be a junction, we need one of these junction pipes, which are, you know, made like so. I guess I didn't show the recipe for these things either. I guess I should do that. Come on. There we go. Recipe for these things is a routed pipe surrounded or with some glowstone, or not, redstone, there we go, and gold nuggets. So they're not too bad. Oops, that's not the right pipe. There we go, and I need to go sleep. Right, I forgot I moved my bed here. Okay, and now the routed pipe is made like so. I believe I've already mostly shown it before, but yeah. So, here's another intersection, so we use the junction pipe. And there we go. Now, if you don't use a junction pipe for the interface, or when you have a junction, you just use one of these regular item transport pipes, which are made like so, then it will kind of act like Buildcraft, and it will just send data packets and items in a random direction, I believe. So you want to use a junction pipe so the system can properly communicate and transfer items in an intelligent manner. Alright, but all that by itself is not particularly useful. Next, we need stock keepers. So, we need to keep these autonomous activators stocked with an item. And if I shift right click on this, opens up this interface. And if we click on this, we can put in a stack of files. And fill when items missing, when empty, when items missing. So what this tells it is all 56 of these stock keeper chips, excuse me, all 56 of these stock keepers chips will keep whatever they're connected to, or try to keep whatever they're connected to, filled with a stack of files. And if we right-click on each one of these things, you'll see that the count in my hand is decreasing. That is because they are being put into the pipes. If we right-click on this, we can see that this has 4 slots, and this one now only has 3, and it has the stock keeper here. Which, if we right-click on that, apparently we can take it out. Okay, cool. And this one already has one, so... Oh, 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 oh. And that's the last one. Okay, now each one of those is trying to keep itself stocked with 64 files. And I believe the red particles mean that it's not finding what it needs. Now, That's a lot of stuff that we've got going here, a lot of Project Red piping stuff, but I believe it's fairly resource efficient, so don't have to worry too much about it. Alright, next, extractor chips. Something else to note, I believe I've already shown this, but I'll show it again. You see how if you mouse over it and press shift, it says not configured? We shift right click on it, it's now got a configuration. And you can't put unconfigured chips into the interface pipes. Anyway, so we want orientation. Oh, interesting. So we want filter, and we want to put in a class file, but we want to blacklist this. Yes. Yes. So blacklisted, metadata is checked, good. NBT is also checked, which is also good. Or dictionary is ignored, okay, cool. So, by having it blacklisted, we're saying that anything that is not an empty glass file needs to be pulled out, needs to be extracted. Yes. And just put all these into the interface pipes. Okay, and that was the last extractor chip. Now, if we right-click on this, we can see that it has both stock keeper and extractor chips in it, which is awesome. Alright. So, next, we need to... So, basically what this will do is... as the jars fill up with Essentia, the autonomous activators holding glass files will continuously right-click on them, emptying out the jars, and the filled files will then get extracted by these pipes, but they need to go somewhere, and that somewhere is going to be our storage system here. Come on. There we go. Okay. So, for this we're going to need more interface pipes, item responder chips, and item broadcaster chips. Okay, and I'm going to put one of these on the back of every single barrel. Now, something interesting to note is that interface pipes also act as router, or as junction pipes, so we don't have to worry about them being connected like that. Okay, and that's all of them. Oh, also, something to note. You'll notice how the sides of the pipes have like green things on them or red things. Red things means that it's not communicating with anything in that direction. There's nothing there for it to communicate with. Green, however, means that it's actually found another junction pipe or junction pipe functionality pipe connected to it from that side. So, with those ones being red, if I connect this pipe here, they suddenly turn green. And you also saw a little green particle thing, which I believe represents the data being transferred. Gives a nice visual representation of data being transferred between the two devices, which is pretty cool. Okay. And now then, I think I'm going to actually have here be the junction pipe. And boop, 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 boop. And I believe one more boop. There we go. And as I said before, the interface pipes also act as junction pipes, so I don't need a junction pipe here when connecting these two. But I do need one here, as this is going down. Alright, but I'll get to that later. So first of all, Item responder chips. Yes. Now, when the item extractor chips pull the files out of the autonomous activators, it's going to want someplace to put them. And that is what the item responder chips do. The item responder chips tell the system, hey, you can stick stuff here. If we right-click on it, we get this. Now, I am going to leave this empty, which means that anything can match, which I can do because the file, or the barrels for the files, are all locked. So even if they're empty, it will still only accept a particular type of item. Now, if they did not lock, I would have to go through every single one of these and take each file and manually program it into each responder chip, which would be really annoying, and it's getting to be nighttime. Okay, so now I just put in each of these item responder chips into every single one of these pipes. And there we go. Next we have item broadcaster chips, which right-click to bring up a thing, and I am once again going to leave this thing empty. Now what this does is this tells the entire system, hey, I have X item in this inventory that I can pull from. So it's kind of like the extractor chips, except that instead of pulling everything out of an inventory, it only pulls what the system requests. So, put one of each in here. And again, because the barrels are locked, I can just leave these cards mostly blank, and it will... Did one get into there? Yes, it did. Okay. And it will pull only that particular item from that barrel. Okay, and that is all of them. And you can see that both are in there. Sweet. Okay, and next, the final grouping here. Okay, so we need more routed interface pipes, more item extractor chips, and more stock keeper chips. Just gonna run through here and hook them all up to the bottom of this thing here. Why do I have this space? That doesn't even need to be there. Alright, so, yes. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna leave this open for now so I can get down there easily. Now, this part is going to be really annoying. Because... Excuse me. Because the item stock keeper chips will have to be manually and individually programmed for each particular Essentia file. Which will be done simply by coming over here, tossing stuff like so. Actually, I can just use this chest down here. Alright, so I have one chip here. There we go. Okay, so it comes from the other direction this way. What? What? Oh, I accidentally unlocked this. Pull 8 of these files here. Alrighty then. And now I need to find the start. Alright, it's right there. This is going to be pain in the ass. Alright, so this is the first one. Right click here, pull this up, and I believe, well, that was interesting. Not quite what I had in mind. Also not quite what I had in mind. Is there a way to just put a stack here? Okay. Alright, and now we have one that's set to stock a full stack of air files. And place that there. Actually, you know what? I can probably just hold on to these things and just do them all. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and I will just be going through this long and tedious process as I just do that. Actually, you know what? To partly test things out, we can just dump things into here and see what happens to them. Well, the fact that it's not extracting things from this kind of worries me a tad. Alright. Item extractor chip. Extraction is not simulated. Filter, file. Items are blacklisted. Items are whitelisted, blacklisted. Item responder chip. Let's try switching this to blacklisted so that... yeah. That might be it right there, is that needs to be blacklisted instead of whitelisted. Ah, yeah, that was the problem. That should come over to here. Yep, okay, so... we need to pull out all these item responder chips. Okay, so by switching these all to blacklist, we're telling it to blacklist nothing, basically. And go through and put all these in. We should see a flurry of items being moved into the barrels. Oh, yep, there they go. And there we go. All the barrels should be properly configured now. Sweet, okay. Now I am going to check this thing, make sure it all worked. Yes, it did. And did it all go to the right place? Yes, it did. Okay. Sweet. I'm going to go ahead and continue working on this off camera because this is going to take a while. Okay, so I've gone through and configured every single one of those chips. So when I connect things up here, like this... so when I put this last junction pipe, everything should be pulled out of the barrels and put into the appropriate autonomous activator. There it goes. Sweet. And that's going to be really fun to watch. Oh, one more. Little straggler. Oh, it's got more stuff. Alright, and what this also means is that we can come over here to this huge grouping. And, let's see here. What I want is in this. Take the dolly. Grab this. Oh, right. We don't use dollies to move. filing cabinets, just pick them up like that. And if I plunk it down here, it should pull out the stuff. Perhaps, maybe? Maybe, perhaps? No? It can't interact with that, right? Maybe it's because I have an autonomous activator there. So if I remove the autonomous activator and replace it with a filing cabinet, what will happen exactly? Now, I've already proven that this one will pull stuff out of inventories. It does not seem to see this filing cabinet as an inventory. Okay, that's interesting. Good thing to note. Alright, how do I get this filing cabinet, or this auto? There we go. That's how. Awesome. Okay. And by now, all those barrels should be pretty much empty. Yeah, looks like it. And random sampling of autonomous activators to make sure that stuff is actually connected and going to the right place, and I just fell down here. Okay, so air has one air file. Whatever that is, the skull thing, has an Examus file. Ignis file. Heart. Victus. Spiritus, sweet. Looks like I got everything correct. Awesome, now we need power. So this facility kind of needs more juice. Well, autonomous activators need power to run, so... yes. I believe I already have some made up somewhere. Just have to find them. Here we are. This should provide me with all the juice I need. Or, yes. Provide me with the transport of all the juice that I need. Okay. What? Oh. That was weird. Alright. There we go. Now I just need to connect this to my power grid, which I will do later. And that'll be good to go. Oh wait, no, there's one more thing that we need to do. The autonomous activators. Okay, good. It's got right click by default. But, oh. Okay. Really? I don't have to configure them? Oh, sweet, I'm done. Yay, I was afraid I would have to I would have to configure the click type and to ignore redstone signals, but I don't have to. Yay! Okay. So that means this whole facility is pretty much good to go. Just need to connect it to power and dump a lot of stuff to be munched. Although we also need a lot of glass files. I'm not actually sure how I'm going to get... Well, actually, no, that's not true. I know exactly how I'm going to get all the materials to do that the hard way. But, I think I'm going to pause this recording and take a short break. Okay. Okay, so I wish to set up some... Well, we need to get this into the storage, and we also need a place to store empty files. Let me see here. Suppose I could probably... I don't know. I have absolutely no idea where to store the files at. Probably just gonna end up creating a temporary system. Grab this chest. So, now, place this there. Place the chest there. Okay, and with a responder chip, tell it that we only want empty files. God damn it. Okay, empty files in here. And that we will broadcast whatever is in this chest here. Yes. Wait, what? Stockkeeper. Oh, right, I totally forgot about that. Forgot to put the extractor chips into that. Okay, okay. Actually, you know what? Let's do that real quick before I forget again. Alright, so this. Extract. Only empty files. Alright, and then get back down there. We apparently closed up this. That was not it. That was also not what is going on here. No. Okay, I'm really confused now. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, come on. Alright. So, yes. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Alrighty then. Now for you again. Yes, so this stores empty bottles. Alright, it got pulled from there. Okay. And you need this. And we're gonna need this. Plop down. Chest, where's the chest? There's the chest. Bags are annoying and helpful at the same time. Pop that there. Hopefully it will extract items out of this chest. Actually, wait, hold it. Oh. No, it won't. Again, bags annoying and helpful at the same time. Need to use it up here. Pop that down. Item duct. Filing cabinet, so that way we can pull the items out of there. And yes. Yep. You there. Ignore redstone. Should start pulling stuff into the chest. Yes, it is. Cool. And then the system should start pulling it out of the chest and sending it upon its merry way. I hope. Maybe having two things connected to it is confusing it. There it goes. Starting to pull stuff now. Interesting, it appears to not be pulling a whole stack at a time. Looks like it's only doing 8. Yep. 8 at a time. That should be good. Okay, and I'll slowly put this into the storage system and the asynchronous, or the autonomous activators. going to the storage system. It might just be bypassing the storage system, going right to the autonomous activators, since they do need stuff. Got everything? Nope. Empty files now. Whoops. Oh well. Okay. So that should be good. We'll slowly remove the stuff from that chest and sort it out. Empty bottles should go into this chest here, or into the autonomous activators down here. Actually, no, not the autonomous activators down here, the autonomous activators up here. Most likely. And I'm also going to need to create a whole bunch of autonomous, or a whole bunch of empty files, fill up that chest, and start having it fill up those things. But I am probably going to do that off camera. You know, this episode has probably gone on for a really long time. So I think I'll go ahead and end it here. Once again, I am KHM, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.